We're back. Today we're going to continue with our book. We're going to read chapters 15 and 16 today in our book. And what's the title of the book? Who remembers? Somebody yell it out. Yeah, everybody remembers. Good job. The title is Hatchet. Everybody remembered that. Way to go. Who is the author? Somebody. Really loud. Louder. One more time. Who's the author? Good. Author is Gary Paulson. What is the author? What's that mean he did? He wrote the book. We've said it several times. You guys know this. I just keep asking. You just keep answering. Good job. Gary Paulson wrote the book. So we are looking at the book Hatchet. Although we do an adapted version of Hatchet. This just means that we've taken the chapter and we've abbreviated it so the chapter is only about 1 page in length. You get much of the same content, just not as much text. Plus, as you can see by looking at the pictures on this page, you get pictures in here to help with comprehension. If you want this book or this modified version, adapted version, and these questions, they're all at the link. Just download them. Doesn't cost anything other than paper. You just got to get them downloaded. You do not have to have either one of them. The book is going to be on your screen right here in front of you, and I'm going to have the questions, and you can write your answers on paper. We're going to go over the chapters, we're going to read the questions, and we're going to talk about it. Okay, so let's just go ahead and look at the book we're reading. We are going to start with chapter 15 in Hatchet. If you remember, let's do a quick review. On our last chapter, here's chapter 14. Let's go back one more. Chapter 13. If you remember, Brian was remembering how he had his first fish. He'd used his bow and arrow to catch it. He cooked it over the fire. In chapter 14, the last chapter, a skunk broke into his shelter. It ate his eggs. It sprayed him, so he stunk like a skunk. And then Brian made a food shelter to protect his food. So we are going to go on and look at chapters 15 and 16 today. Chapter 15, Hatchet. Brian wanted to eat meat. He saw squirrels and fool birds. He worked hard. Brian figured out how to kill a fool bird. He had to clean the bird after it. It stunk. Brian cooked it over the fire. It tasted good. It was his first meat. So now we have our pictures here of Brian. This is our main character. Brian has, until this point, who remembers, what's he been eating? Somebody said berries. He was eating berries. That's right, that's what he started eating in the beginning. What else was he eating? Yep, somebody said fish. If you remember, he used his bow and arrow to catch fish. He'd initially used a spear. It didn't work, so he made a bow. So he used his bow and arrow to catch fish. Before the fish, got a little ahead of myself, the turtle eggs. Yes, good. He saw the turtle the turtle tracks going towards the lake. He followed them. He found the eggs, and he had turtle eggs. So those are 3 of the items that we know of that Brian's been eating. But first sentence says he wanted meat. So he had to figure out how to kill this bird. After he did, he cleaned the bird. It stunk. He cooked the bird over the fire. This was his first meat. All right, let's move right on to chapter 16. Brian was by the lake. He was thinking of the rabbits and the full birds he'd killed. He shot another full bird with his bow. Brian went to the lake to wash his hands. Then a moose attacked Brian. It knocked him into the lake. He was hurt. Brian went to his shelter. At night, Brian heard a loud noise. It was a tornado. It destroyed his shelter and hurt him again. So Brian's having a tough go of it. For this chapter alone, while he was down by the lake, all he was doing was he was down there, he was thinking of the birds and the rabbits that he'd killed. He shot another bird with his bow. He just went to the lake to wash his hands. While he was down there, a moose attacked Brian. It knocked him into the lake, so now it's got his clothes wet again. He's been knocked into the lake, and he was hurt. This was probably pretty rough. But then, to make matters even worse, at night, he heard this loud noise. It was a tornado. And this tornado destroyed Brian's shelter, and it hurt him again. So he's having a hard time. How do you think you would feel if all of this stuff happened to you? He's probably sad because his shelter that he worked hard on is gone. He's probably discouraged because he seems to be making progress, and then something happens and sets him back again. Lots of feelings, I would think, going through Brian right now. Okay, let's go ahead and look at our next chat questions. So if you have this paper, go ahead and get it out. If you don't, just write your answers down on regular paper. You do not have to have this. This is just for a visual if you need it to give you prompts with the pictures. So look at question number 1. What's the title of the story? Somebody already said it. Yeah. Okay, let's do it just one thing at a time. You're getting ahead of yourself. What's the title of the story? Is it Walk Two Moons, Book Theater, or Hatchet? What's the title of the story? Write your answer down or circle it. I know, there's no reason for me to wait. Everybody already has it. Yes, it's Hatchet. Hatchet is the title of our book. Who's the author of our book? Is it Mark Twain, Jane Austen, or Gary Paulson? Good. You guys have these two down pat. The title is Hatchet. The author's Gary Paulson. Y'all nail those just like that. Way to go. Remember, if I'm moving too fast, what do you need to do? You need to hit the pause button. Write down your answers and then unpause it to finish. This isn't a race. You take your time. Let's go ahead and look at number 3. What type of food is Brian wanting? Now we're still in chapter 15. What type of food is he wanting? It says it like the first sentence or something. Fish, meat, berries. He wanted meat. That's what he was wanting. If we go back and look at chapter 15, we're going to see. It is the first sentence. Brian wanted to eat meat. If you don't remember the answers, it is okay to go back in the story and find the correct answer. Don't wait on me to give you the answer. I would rather you find it on your own. That's a big deal. If you want this story, it's in that link again. Do you have to have it? Because I've gone over it in this video. But you can't. It's okay. You can print it out. You don't have to. The type of food he wanted was meat. Let's move on to the next page. The next questions, I guess. Or next page. Number 4. What was Brian's first meat? What was the first meat he had? Rabbit. The full bird. Squirrel. Which one was his first meat? Circle your answer or write it down. Good job, guys. It's that bird. Remember I said a full bird is kind of like a grouse? I actually used a picture of the grouse. So that was his first meat. Number 5. How did he cook the bird? On the stove? He didn't cook it. Over the fire. How did Brian cook the bird? He cooked it over the fire. That's right. You should have circled this or written over the fire down. I didn't go back and get the answer to number 4 immediately because I didn't want to give you the answer to number 5. So number 4, what was his first meat? And he's talking here, he figured out how to kill the bird. He had to clean it. And then down here it says that it was his first meat. So that's how we know that this was his first meat. And then it says here that Brian cooked it over the fire. So that gives us that answer too. So we know that the bird was his first meat and he cooked it over the fire. Let's go on. And look at this. Question number 6. What type of animal did Brian catch? What other type of animal did Brian catch to eat? It's in the very beginning of chapter 16. What was the other type of animal Brian caught to eat? Was it a fish, a bear, or a rabbit? Write down your answer or circle the correct answer. It was a rabbit. Good job. It was a rabbit. That was kind of hard too. A little tricky. If we go on and look at chapter 16, Brian he's down by the lake and he was thinking of the rabbits and the full birds that he had killed. So it's right there at the beginning. The rabbits and the birds. So that was the other type of animal that we know of. We already knew he ate the fish. So it was saying what other type of animal. So that was the rabbit. Number 7. What animal knocked Brian into the lake? Was it a bear, a moose, or a deer? What animal knocked Brian into the lake? Write your answer down or circle your answer. The moose. That moose knocked Brian into the lake. If we go back to our book, we're going to see that Brian went to the lake to wash his hands. Then a moose attacked Brian and knocked him into the lake. So it's always okay to go back and find the answer if you're not sure. It's right here in the book. The moose. There was even a picture. The moose knocked him into the lake. Last question. What noise woke Brian up? What did he hear? Did he hear his mother, a plane, or a tornado? Write your answer down or circle it. What noise woke him up? His mother, a plane, or a tornado? Brian heard a tornado. Do you remember in the end of the book, it said he heard a loud noise? It was a tornado. It destroyed his shelter and hurt him again. That finishes chapters 15 and 16. At the end of this chapter, we've talked about multiple foods that Brian has ate. I would like you to either draw or list them. You can do it on the back of your paper if you print these out. You can do it right there on the paper you're writing on. Draw or list at least 3 of the foods that Brian has ate. Okay? All right. That finishes 15 and 16 for Hatchet. Next time we come back, we'll read chapter 17 and 18. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.